Dean, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Not too bad, thank you.
Good. Well, thank you so much for coming in to talk to me this morning.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's lovely to have you. I had the privilege of coming to your newly opened studio, which felt like quite a long time ago, but it was only a little over a week.
Feels like a long time ago.
I imagine you have been a busy man.
We've been working really hard.
You have. Tell me a little bit about you. So are you local to Marlow? Before we talk about Flow, let's talk about you.
Talk about me. What a story.
So you live not too far away from here.
So I live in Stokenchurch, and that's where I grew up. I went to school in Watlington, which is just on the edge of Oxfordshire, and state school, and done quite well. Just worked hard and wasn't an overachiever, but just tried my best to apply myself.
Tell me, what did you like most at school while you were there?
So I enjoyed design and technology, which was a hands-on practice. It's sort of woodwork and metalwork, and I took that into my sort of career later on. I equally enjoyed physical education. Was no good at football, so done a bit of rugby. And I do have a love for badminton, but need to find a bit more time to do more of that. Sciences.
So tell me so badminton, I'm sure you can find time. Maybe not at the minute, it might feel out of reach, but soon I'm sure you'll be playing badminton again.
Absolutely.
But tell me about how you took that design and technology into your initial career. So prior to Flow, what did you do? When you left school, what did that look like? What was your career?
So went to Wickham and Amersham College up in Flackwell Heath. Had a fantastic lecturer called Rob Howlett, and where I was learning electrical technical installations, which is a long word, well, lengthy sentence for saying electrician.
That's okay. We like the long title. So you became an electrical safety engineer.
Basically an electrician.
And then what did life look like for you? So did you do that for quite a while? Because you're quite young, might I say. You've got a lot of time ahead of you, Dean. So how long have you been in the electrician business?
Electrical world. So I qualified as an electrician, so went to college for 2 years, converted onto an apprenticeship, qualified by the time I was 19, and then reached out to the EIC to be a certified electrician by the time I was 21. How that looked was I worked for a small company called Short Circuit in Stokenchurch, gave me lots of training, fantastic guy called Martin, and then I went self-employed and grew my own small business from the age of about 21.
And tell me what you liked about running your own business.
Everyone can tell you about running a small business. There's ups and there's downs. It's a lot of hard work. It gives me the freedom, not all the time, to do what we like. So there's a funny thing called balance, which is a bit sometimes skew. However, it gave me the reassurance that I knew exactly how much work I had going forward. The more you put in, the more you get out. That's it, really.
And I think you've demonstrated that skill in your new venture, haven't you? Because it's quite amazing, in my opinion, what you have managed to accomplish in a short period of time at Flow, which we'll come on to. I'm really interested in the middle part between the electrician and between today. If you're comfortable to share, we will touch on that. But it's amazing what you've managed to achieve, and I feel everything that we go through, we have these transferable skills, don't we, that come through to what we grow, what we develop in, and where we end up. So how did you go from, I'm going to use the short word, being an electrician to now being the owner of a fabulous centre in Marlow, which isn't just about wellbeing practices. It's more than that. We've had a brief chat and I'm hoping we'll share, but it's got a real community energy in there. You can feel it. Tell me how this vision began. What happened?
So, I worked super hard from a young age, 16, 17, 18. Developed a successful electrical business, and come a bit unstuck. So,
when you say unstuck, was that like a feeling? Did something just feel like?
So essentially, I overworked myself without any conscious effort to look after my body, mind or body. And it was a case of a young man working super hard, chasing the pound coins, and thinking success materialised in being a business owner, car, motorbike, having lots of jobs without understanding or feeling what I needed personally, and just being connected with actually that, working 7 days a week is not acceptable, and maybe cool. I was just young and naive, so I'd done that for a long time, and then I burnt myself out. Tradesman burnout is a huge thing, because you never really know what work is around the corner, so you end up overreaching, and I didn't have respect for having downtime, and I would work until I was exhausted and then go on holiday, which is a dangerous lifestyle. So your question, how I went from electrician to wellness facility owner, was during my difficult time I was doing yoga in Marlow, so that's my connection to Marlow, and it was a studio that it helped me through a very difficult time, and this was before I went through 14 months of therapy, and it was magic. The yoga is suitable for everybody, and it's not about holding a downward dog. So it's there's lots of different styles, but I won't go on forever about yoga. For me, it gave me a sense of belonging, community, and attachment. And I needed I've got fantastic family and a fantastic group of friends that helped me pull this venture, get over the line. And then, so I found friends. There was 17 teachers in this studio that were all very unique and wonderful, kind-hearted people that
changed your life. Can I?
They did change my life.
I feel, Dean, how important this is for you, because what you shared there and touched on is, it's really important for you. Firstly, I feel really privileged that you have been brave enough to come here and share you have created something absolutely outstanding, which I can feel is going to be really important for this community. But something like that doesn't get created from someone just thinking, oh, I know what I'll do tomorrow. I'll, work really hard to get this up and running. There is a purpose behind this, and I can feel it. So you obviously burnt out, and that took you into a difficult space.
Yes, I agree. Took me into a difficult space, but I think the beauty of going through the hard times is that I want people to know that the other side is beautiful, and just to don't give up.
No, because it's lonely out there if you've been through a challenging time. I relate to what you're sharing. I've burnt out, and I used to call it having a breakdown, but now I'm calling it a breakthrough.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I feel when we go through these difficult times, you've been drawn and connected to these people, and these people have become your community.
Yeah.
And you now, I'm feeling from you, want to provide this community space and extend that out to others so they feel they're not alone, they don't need to give up, and when times are hard, there is somewhere you can go and something you can do, however small.
Absolutely. So, you know, a big thing for me is that Flow... so the studio that I was a part of, and this was 14 months ago, it closed down. And
so was this the space where you did the yoga and met the people?
Yeah, so the space is a very important part of the story, which is I was a part of a community. We all enjoyed the yoga. I didn't realise how much other people needed it as much as I did until it was gone. It closed down through difficult circumstances, and I saw an opportunity there, and I thought I personally don't want to lose this. And then when I dug a little bit deeper into the wellness world of yoga and Pilates and studio stuff, there was a lot of other people that needed it as much as I did. And these teachers are the salt of the earth. They are people that provide a space, whether it's from a physical point of view or a mental point of view, but it is medicine, and everyone needs an alternative activity to do that is nurturing for our mind, body, and soul, if you want to talk about soul.
Yeah, no, I do. I would love to touch on that. I mean, I think what you're sharing there is this real need for people to have access to something else outside of the usual things we get sucked into and addicted to, like going out, drinking, smoking, partying. We've all been there. I've been there. And I think often when these things become excess, it's because we just need to feel connected to something or someone or a space. And what I'm hearing from you here with yoga, that gave you that what you needed in that time, surrounded by those people. And like you say, yoga doesn't have to be this. You don't have to, stand on your head and do all these shapes. There's real subtlety. Tell me about your very first experience with yoga. Like, what was that like, Dean? How did you even come across it?
That's a great question. So I was a part of a CrossFit gym, and didn't have the bandwidth after a stressful year of business, and I met a wonderful soul called Dominic Hatcher.
I love Dominic Hatcher.
And Dom gave me a beautiful first class in yin yoga. And if you don't know what yin is essentially an hour where you, in my basic description, without going too much into detail, you lay down, you do some deep stretching, you release a load of stress that we hold in our shoulders and neck and muscles and joints, and you just give yourself an hour to just slow down a little bit. And that is absolutely beautiful, and it's accessible for everyone, and it essentially opened up a big door to yoga. And then you let essentially deep poses, very supportive, blocks, blankets, pillows, very cozy. Anyone can do it, and if you're having a hard time, come down and I'll explain to you a bit more if necessary.
That's amazing, Dean, because what you've shared there is this is accessible. It's accessible for everyone, and you're really creating this space here where people can, connect to what they need and really ease themselves into this way of understanding.
Absolutely. I want to try and I don't know if demyth is the right word, or I just made that up.
We'll go with it.
we'll roll with that one. It's yoga or Pilates, all that is very adaptable, and it's not about doing headstands or inversions or upside down yoga and all that sort of stuff. It's just about flow. For me, is that the door's always open. You come and have a chat. If you want to come and do yoga and Pilates, then fantastic. But actually, it's a place of coming to learn new habits, make new friends, and hopefully it makes life a little bit easier.
Oh, Dean, there's so many things I want to ask you. We are going to play a track shortly, but before that, how did you feel after your first yoga experience? Not during it. What happened after for you?
It was a complete de-stress. So I was relaxed. I could focus. I can think clearly. It was that's it really. I mean, it's a total body de-stress, fully relax, a full relaxation, and you just feel a little bit lighter.
And would you say, correct me if I'm wrong, but did that feeling feel unfamiliar to you as a tradesman that was working multiple hours that reached a point of burning out? Was that a really unfamiliar feeling for you to sink into?
I done my first class probably about 4 years ago maybe, with them. And before then, I don't think I'd ever slowed down before. And that's a big problem. Going on holiday is not acceptable. We need to have that half an hour, even 2 minutes worth of take a breath and slow down.
Dean is in the studio. He is the founder of Flow in Marlow. There's a lot of wonderful stuff going on at Flow that people can have access to, which we are going to share with you listeners, but not before we talk to Dean a little bit more about why there is so much passion, I can feel it, for Flow being a space that people can access. It feels like a bit of a lifeline, Dean. Is that accurate?
I think you nailed it, yep.
So if it feels right, share with us. I know you've had your own experiences which have led you to the importance of creating this space. What did that feel like for you when you didn't have this prior to this space? What did life feel like?
It was a bit of a challenge, I think. So we between the studio closing down and us opening today, maybe call me a bit of a crusader if you want.
All right then, crusader.
stubborn Dean didn't quit, and I didn't want to lose his community, tried to keep them together, and I was just lost, lonely, and trying my hardest to find a spot where I belonged again. And the community, we basically we started a WhatsApp group, and we were all sort of talking on that. And at the time, we didn't really have a spot. We were essentially like, I don't know, nomads. When the studio closed, I turned around and said, look, if I start a company and try and find a spot in Marlow where the old studio used to be, can we carry this on? And if I dip into my savings heavily, let's stay together. There's enough community there to run it, and my main intention was to basically save 17 teachers' jobs, which I'd done successfully for about 6 months. Until I looked at the bank account and thought, I can't really afford to do this anymore, which was devastating. And we operated up at the Harleyford Golf Course, and had a beautiful room there, but it was all a bit rocky, because essentially I was converting a conference room into a yoga studio or a Pilates studio, a bar studio, 3 times a day. And I was working, obviously, my electrical job at the same time. So I was racing around like a lunatic. And after 6 months, I just had to make a financial business decision to say, look, guys, I've done my best for 6 months, but the property we were waiting to get a lease for fell through. And from the 14 months from when it closed down to today, I went through 7 different properties, 5 different landlords, and then eventually got introduced to a wonderful man called Paul Busby, who is the Roger Gracie Genesis Gym family man, community supporter, jiu-jitsu gym. Lovely guy, and our paths aligned, and we crossed over, and then he goes, absolutely love your idea, Dean. He gave us a chance to carry on something that made his heart sing, made my heart sing, to grow something really wholesome, really authentic, and hopefully change people's lives.
How amazing that, you were not giving up, were you?
There was, my family probably think I'm absolutely bonkers. And a lot of my friends were just unsure whether I could pull it off. And through times, I nearly threw the towel in 3 times, because my famous last words was, how hard can it be to find a property in Marlow to do yoga or Pilates or studio stuff? And between me and you, Kelly, really hard work. But I persisted, and I'm so glad I didn't quit, because what we have got now is going to make such an impact for hopefully as many lives as possible. Obviously, there is a price structure that supports my overheads, and I've got 25 now fantastic teachers, Pilates, bar, yoga and reformer, and I don't want to just limit us to we're a fitness facility. Like, I want it to be a community hub for people to come and enjoy. I went through 14 months of therapy. I paid £65 a week every week with a phenomenal guy called Dan Cornforth, Marlow-based man, and then I thought to myself how privileged I was, even though I worked super hard for it, to be able to afford £65 a week. And all some people need to start with is just to talk. So the idea is that we're going to be doing concessions for teenagers and lots of people to try, and I want it to be accessible to everyone. Equally, overheads are difficult. So I welcome anybody to drop in, send us an email. Let's get connected, because I've got a wonderful building that can facilitate a lot of different things, whether it's teenager groups, women's circles, men's health groups. Like, over and above, we are a yoga Pilates studio. We're more than that.
Oh, you can tell that it's more than that. I can feel it's definitely more than that. This place of belonging that you speak of, I think in life we all need to belong somewhere. It's so important, and you feel that. You're living it.
I am essentially living my dream.
Which, Dean, I think it's amazing what you've done, that you are living this dream, and you fully deserve to be in this place and sharing this, because what you're creating here, I mean, I shared it earlier and I read something just recently. We can only truly teach from experience, truly. We can learn skills, but when we've lived something and you give that back, and for you may not be a yoga teacher, but you're someone where community and belonging is so important, because you've reached that point of burning out and what that space meant to you. It's amazing, because you nearly gave up. You shared that. People out there are probably thinking, I need to belong. I've nearly given up. This is hope. This is important. It's way beyond just a yoga studio, which I know is important and it's got great benefits, but there's so much more to what you're sharing.
I want to, we're talking about our future. I'm there for 10 years, so I'm all in. I'm fully committed. And in the last 2 weeks, I've met some phenomenal people that do, therapy in prisons and help nurture children that need a bit of help, and women's circles, men's health, blah, blah, blah. All very, very important areas of the community that need space to do it. And I want to give you the space, just because we need to stick together. We need to look after each other. People feeling lonely in this day and age is, the digital world is phenomenal. And going back to your previous guest, talking about AI, artificial intelligence is a wonderful tool, but let's not lose sight on what we need, and that is connection.
Yeah, it's hugely important, and there's a real sense of community and connection in Flow. I'm very energy sensitive and feel it, and that's why before we even spoke, I wanted to actually come in. And for anyone that hasn't been to Flow, it's so much more than a yoga studio. I mean, you've created a real hub, a lifeline where there is so much opportunity and potential and hope for people in this community. So it's amazing, Dean. It is amazing.
Absolutely. Don't be shy. Pop in. We've got a small team to start with, but as soon as we, get to a position financially where we can take on more staff, we will, grow it to the scale where we can make even more of an impact. There'll be fundraising, there'll be concessions, there'll be charity events, there'll be outreach programs. I'd love to look after the elderly, and we have a duty, or I have a duty, to make sure that I am as inclusive as possible. And if you want to call me a bridge builder, I would quite welcome that. I want to connect different communities, different cultures, different religions, because actually we're all the same. We're just humans that all believe our own beliefs. Whatever that might be, I don't mind, but we're humans, we're on the planet, we need to look after each other, because actually life is tough, and I've been through the mill, and I kept pushing through to open this, because I just had this you call it a calling or a message or a gut feeling that actually this is going to be a huge success, because I care. I've got a small amount of business experience of running a small business, how horrible it is and how wonderful it is. But if I can team up with some of the wonderful teachers in the areas, therapists, nutritionalists, teachers, therapists, I think I've said that 3 times, but
we need lots of therapists.
If you've got something that helps the community, please let us know, because I'm trying to connect as many dots as possible, and if we can't help you now, then I'd love to see if we can work out when or where we can help you. Getting yoga or Pilates into a nursing home, now that sounds beautiful, because actually we eventually will be looking at funding for an internal lift, as long as my landlord's happy with that, and just because I'm conscious that there's we need to make sure it's accessible, and if we can't do that, then why don't we open an accessible venue somewhere else? But it's like the sky's the limit. I've opened a can of I'm no good at this mic thing.
You're not going to use the word worms now, are you?
No, I've opened a can of
caterpillars.
I don't know what the can analogy is, but anyway, I've opened the door to something much bigger than me, and I might be the director and blah blah blah, but I can't do this without my teachers and
the support of the community.
They want someone like me that's going to listen. So that's what makes us different to other studios or facilities in the area, because I'm not doing this for money. I'm allowed to say that.
Yeah, you're doing this for love.
I'm doing this for love. Yeah, there we go. I'm doing this for it tops up my cup helping people, and that's why I went to therapy. I got to 27, 28, went through a load of therapy. It was very opening, and what my therapist helped me understand is actually who I am. And I couldn't believe I was 28 and didn't have a clue who I was, which was very opening and very emotional and blah blah blah. But if I say that again, that's probably not very good.
No, but I think that's amazing what you shared, Dean, because actually at 28 to have that realisation, I would say you could count yourself one of the lucky ones in many ways, because there are a lot of people out there. I've been sat where you are. I didn't have a clue who I was, finding my way back to that. And what you said about a bridge builder, it's really funny, because I would, I feel I can comfortably say this with you, but some of the listeners channel information, and I had this real bridging the gap thing come through. We really need to connect the gap between what's going on out there and what's going on inside us, and open that space for people to be seen and heard, so that they can naturally feel comfortable being who they are. And And this feels like you're really opening the door for a lot of people to be able to do that, you know, to have that space to connect with friends and really enable themselves to connect back to what's important.
It's so important, you know. I think it's okay to fail. You know, I failed, and if you want to hear more about my stories, this isn't about me. This is about Flow. But come in, and I'll open-heartedly tell you everything, because I need to put myself out there to say it's okay to mess up. It's all right to fail, and actually, it might feel heavy at the time, but like just one day at a time, you know, 1 hour at a time, whatever it takes. You've got this.
That's Queen there, You're My Best Friend, chosen by Dean Hammond, who is in the studio today from Flow in Marlow, recently opened last week. Dean, tell us why that track if you can.
Great question. So, without sounding, Flow's my best friend.
Tell me why that is.
Why? I think everyone should have a best friend, and Flo's not my only best friend. I consider everybody who comes through the door a friend, and hopefully a best friend. Now, we need friends and we need family, and I have a fantastic set of friends, and I consider most of the people at Flow an extension of my family, and my family are amazing. We all probably work too much, but we equally fight like cat and dog.
That's natural, and it's nice you're verbalising these truths because you know it's important.
It's important, you know. I think it comes from like a place of definitely good intention
and
love. Now, I'm aware that people do feel lonely because I speak from experience, and one of the goals from Flow, why I picked You're My Best Friend, is because, you know, we all need good friends, we all need good family members, and we just need a bit of support. So hopefully I could be that doorway for people to come and either make new friends or talk to random strangers, because like it's just that space that people can't afford therapy, but sometimes therapy doesn't have to be in a room with 2 chairs and a shrink the other side of you. It's more to do with like being able to just talk to someone, maybe over a tea or a coffee or water, juice, whatever you need. We just got to talk, you know.
I think that's really important, and what I'm hearing here, Dean, is that where you said Flow's your best friend, I feel like because that's giving you a space to connect to who you truly are, and in turn you're reflecting that back to everybody that walks through that door. They can arrive as they are, they can come with whatever they're carrying, because we touched on it just now when we were listening to that track, but we can have the best families, we can have lots of friends, but when you're overwhelmed with stuff and not working through stuff inside, it's very lonely being who you are surrounded by people. So it's being able to take the masks off, put the bags down, and just be with what is somewhere that might be outside of that comfort zone, that might be your family or friends.
Absolutely.
And I feel Flow is that space.
It really is. You know, poured my, heart and soul, lots of blood, sweat and tears, a few pound coins. But all that aside is just for the greater good. You know, it's like, what is my legacy? And if I can leave the world in a better place, then
You already are, Dean.
I've done my job.
What you're pouring into this is love, pain, experience.
Absolutely.
You said you've burnt out. you felt lonely despite being surrounded by people, and that's no reflection on the wonderful people around you. I hear you, I know what you're saying, but it can be really lonely, and you don't want other people to feel like that.
Absolutely. Sometimes you're so in your head that you can't see clearly, you don't know what to do next, and we just need to take 2 minutes or a minute at 11:11 to just stop
and drop into our bodies. And like you say, a lot of us are living in our heads, and what you're able to do at Flow, and when we're doing these practices, wherever that may be, even if it's at home and you're taking 2 minutes, if we can drop into our body and connect to what's going on in there just for a minute, like you probably experienced it yin yoga with Dom. It's those small steps. It might just be that chat, that cup of tea, someone to hear a bit of your story so they don't feel that they're on their own.
Someone will relate.
And that's what's important. Oh, Dean, I could talk to you all day, but I'm aware we've only got about 6 minutes. Tell us where we can find you. Where in Marlow are you based? What times are you open? I mean, I feel like you're there from 4 a.m. till midnight.
I'm there a lot. But it's and I promise to carve out some time to have time off.
Yes.
But it's a passion, and it's a different sort of motivation. So it's essentially my baby. Now, you can find us down Fieldhouse Lane, which is just next door to a fantastic coffee shop called Cooper's and Miller's Eatery, who basically have been fueling us with coffee during the renovation. And so we're down that sort of industrial Globe Park side of Marlow, walking distance from Great Marlow School, and that's where you can find us. We're open at the moment, I would say 8 a.m. to 8 p.m, and we are expanding the timetable as quickly as possible. So over and above, yes, we are a yoga studio, so that's our main core, which is where we can generate an income, and we have a mixture of yoga classes, Pilates classes, reformer Pilates and bar. We would love to, or not we love to, we are going to do elderly groups, whether that's a tea and cake morning on a Friday, or teenage classes at 4 p.m. There's lots of exciting stuff in the pipeline, so just please give us time, and we will make it a really supportive thing for Marlow, and then hopefully the surrounding areas. Maidenhead is a place that we welcome, and obviously High Wycombe, and as many people as possible. So we've got a reformer studio as well. We're very popular at the moment, but we're conscious that everyone needs to start somewhere.
Yes.
So we welcome beginners. If you're unsure, drop us a message or pop in. We've got a fantastic receptionist, Jodie, and there is so Matthew Beach is helping us from an operations in the back office, so my head doesn't come off my shoulders.
And where can people find you social media wise, to tell us all the details, Dean?
It's a good point before I forget. Facebook, we're on there,
yes.
Flow Marlow. We're on Instagram, Flow Marlow. TikTok, even though I don't use it, but we opened that 2 days ago. And most importantly, the website is where you can book on and send us messages. So that is flowmarlow.co.uk.
That's amazing, because I think your message here, because I think we were going to have a play out track, but I don't think we're going to have time. We've got too much to say. We've only got 2.5 minutes to summarise everything, and I'm going to in 20 seconds share my experience and hand it over to you to close the show, Dean. But
okay.
You have got such passion. You have not given up. You've been through a really challenging time to bring this dream alive. I think it's amazing, and you've created a space where people can belong. It's a lifeline, and share with our listeners what you want to leave people with in the last couple of minutes before we hand over to the Eclectic Light Show.
So we're a brand new wellness facility and fitness studio in the heart of Marlow. We bring together yoga, Pilates, reformer and bar, social events to come, and beyond all the classes, Flow is designed as a social hub, a place for people to connect, recharge and gather with like-minded people that want something slightly different. And our mission is very, very simple. It's to help people move better, feel stronger and find their flow. The sweat, the stretch, stillness or community, whatever appeals to you or that you want me to do, let us know.
Thank you, Dean. We've got about 30 seconds.
30 seconds. I can pluck some more words out of my
Honestly,
brain.
I just feel it's amazing. And I know you are so open to what people have to bring to you. I've experienced that with you myself. You were really welcoming. Anybody that's listening, if you've got any ideas, you want to try anything out, reach out to Dean, Flow Marlow. He will listen. You will be heard.
I'll listen. hello@flowmarlow.co.uk. Please bombard it with your ideas and we'll sort it out.
There we go. You heard it here. Get in touch with Dean. We are going straight to the news because we needed to have more conversation. We're going to have to get Dean back. And Abby is up next with the Eclectic Light Show. Dean, thank you.
No problem.